we're going to call this meeting to order. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Joe. We're going to convene to close session. Oh, sorry. This is going to be one of those nights. Can I?
You got the motion. You got the first. All in favor?
Sorry. Can you tell I'm on medication? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? No, there aren't any. The motion carries 5-0. We're going to go to closed session to discuss 3A, Ed Code 35-146, consideration of confidential student matter. 3B, special education settlement agreement, confidential. 3C, public employee discipline, dismissal, release. going to call the meeting. We're going to reconvene to open session, pardon me. Item 4A, report of action taken in closed session. On a motion by Trustee Brown and a second by Trustee Nelson, the Board of Trustees voted 5-0 to approve a special education settlement agreement confidential. Flag salute, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, 5A, Evergreen Elementary Restorative Practices presentation.
Okay, Ms. Nava has prepared a presentation about PBIS. I'm so excited to hear about this and the wonderful work happening at Evergreen.
All right. All right. Good evening. Ooh, that moves. Okay, here we go. I won't lean on it. My name is Maya Nava, and I am the principal of Evergreen Elementary School. Can you all hear me okay? All right. So my presentation, I should say because I feel like I'm presenting for my team here, is on restorative practices at Evergreen, which aligns very well with positive behavioral supports in schools. All right. There we go. There we go. All right, so starting off with some objectives for you all. By the end of my presentation, I hope that the board has a beginning knowledge of what restorative practices are, why it is used, and how Evergreen implements restorative practices. So this aligns with our third goal of the LCAP, which is creating and maintaining optimum learning and working environments for students and staff. Are you guys okay if I take this off? Or put it down? Thanks. So Evergreen has been on quite the journey with restorative practices. We started, and I say we because even though this is my first year as principal at Evergreen, I've been in the district for a while and supporting Evergreen in special education. So I've seen the journey that they've been on. It did start in 2017 with the pilot. Teachers have been trained on effective language, circle keeping, an emphasis on communication and conversations. They've had coaching in class, follow-up trainings every year with both new and existing staff. And when I say staff, I mean all staff, including janitors, office staff, really everyone at Evergreen, which has been amazing. This year, we did have a refresher at the beginning of the school year, or prior to the school year starting, with Maria Freeburn-Smith, our magical Maria, we like to call her. And I'm working to have that be ongoing also for training for new staff. So what are restorative practices? So restorative practices is actually a system of formal and informal processes that build and sustain a culture of kindness, respect, responsibility, and justice. So we achieve this through really emphasizing the importance of trusting relationships as a central piece to building community and repairing relationships when harm has occurred. So really the emphasis is on relationships. So we do this, restorative practices has 4 key values. The first is really looking at building trusting relationships. So at Evergreen, we've really worked hard at the beginning of this year to reestablish our positive community, our looking at our classroom communities, looking at our whole school community, and really building relationships with students, parents, and staff. Now that we're back in person, we thought this is a very important piece, right? The second value is really creating that connection through those positive relationships. So we've created community. Now we want to dig a little bit deeper into the positive relationships that we have with both students, with staff, and with parents. And really what it looks like in classrooms is when we build these positive relationships with students, we have we're better at reaching those harder to reach students. More success. As a staff, I feel like it increases our morale, and we really see some positive teamwork. So a third piece of restorative practices is that every voice is heard. This is really a key piece because research shows that sharing our stories empowers us and supports connection with others. So every voice is heard, and we really want to create that shared ownership with classroom agreements and whole school-wide expectations. So the fourth key value is really developing accountability for our students, but through belonging. So having them really be a part of it. Our goal at Evergreen is to teach students what they should do, right? That's our goal as educators. We want to encourage to teach how to repair relationships when wrongdoing has occurred versus punishing, right? We want to be able to teach what they should be doing. All right, so this is an example of that. This is the social discipline window. This is based off of research done by Ted, I'm going to butcher his last name, it's Waschel. And what this visual shows is our goal is to do discipline with students, right? We want to have high accountability, but also with high support, encouragement, and guidance, really teaching students what they should be doing. And really this creates a shared accountability, a shared ownership. We're doing this with the student versus having it be done to them, which is a more punitive approach. Okay, so being a part of a restorative community at Evergreen, all these aspects are here at our school. We have a variety of structures. So we've got effective language that we're using on a daily basis. Our teachers do restorative circles in their classrooms. We have restorative conferences with students if an incident occurs, maybe an accountability circle, and really working with those restorative questions. And I'll go into what some of those are. So circles is one that we do quite a bit, both in the classrooms, in the office. And the purpose of circles has a variety of purposes, which you can see here on the slide, but really it's to build that connection. We can use it to establish classroom norms, reduce tensions, problem solving, really develop the social emotional skills that can be used to repair relationships. Circles can be light and fun, right? What did you eat for breakfast? Or they can be a little bit more serious or intense. You know, how did that fire alarm affect you that randomly went off because of construction? Okay, so this is an example of a visual that we use with some young children. We have these posted in our classrooms, posted in the office. How to be kind with your words and actions, share how you feel, and using the talking piece. We all have talking pieces. I have some in my office. All the teachers have talking pieces in their classrooms. This is another visual that is often up that you'll see in classrooms. Circle guidelines. Part of a circle, you want to speak from your heart. You want to listen from the heart. You want to trust that you know what to say, and you want to say just enough. And in a circle, students can always choose to skip as well. So if they're not comfortable, that's fine. So another aspect of restorative practices is our effective communication. And this takes practice, a lot of practice. So effective language provides a structure for reinforcing desired behaviors. It really helps teach children what they should be doing. It's a genuine expression of feelings, impacts, and emotions in relation to specific behaviors and actions. So for example, this is an example of an effective sentence creation. So when I see you or see running to the snack line, I'm feeling anxious because I need everyone to be safe. So I would like you all to do is to walk, right? Rather than stop running. We want to use that I message. We want to talk to them about why and show what the desired behavior is. So another aspect of restorative practices is our restorative questions. We use this a lot in the office when incidents happen. Teachers use this when incidents occur in their classrooms, but it really is to elicit reflection on what happened. Encourages understanding of how that impacted everyone, our thoughts, our words, our actions, and it really brings awareness to needs that need to be met in order to maintain those positive relationships. So this is an example of a visual you might see in classrooms for our students. And these are some of the examples of restorative questions that we ask. So we might start in a circle and ask for everyone to share what happened. We might go around then and share, how did that make you feel? The next is, who is hurt and how? And this could be anybody, right? For example, trash being thrown around in the bathroom. How does that impact the whole school community, from the janitor or custodians all the way to the people involved, right? And then last, how can we make it better? So really the focus is on repairing those relationships. We have reminders for adults on how to interact also with students, how to move in close, how to make sure everyone is feeling safe, state what you see happening, use calm voice, get comfortable. Really, our job as the adults facilitating is to understand all viewpoints, not to understand what's right and wrong. And wait and really let the students come up with solutions on their own. Our evergreen expectations are make good decisions, show respect to others and self, and solve problems. And a big piece is, how do we teach students to solve problems on their own, right? That critical thinking piece. So starting all the way at TK, all the way up to 5th grade. All right, so this is an example of kind of the difference between a punitive approach to discipline versus a restorative approach to discipline. So you can see that when it comes to a restorative approach, research shows that it's much more effective than a punitive approach. In a restorative approach, people and relationships are harmed versus school rules being broken. In a restorative approach, the accountability, right? Students are understanding the impact that their action had on others and the community, and then how to repair that harm, versus their accountability being a punishment. In a restorative approach, the offender, the victim, school, sometimes even parents, all have direct roles in the justice process versus it just being focused on the offender. So we've seen really good improvement in student behavior taking this approach. So in summary, our focus this year has really been on building community, building positive, safe relationships for students at school so that they can feel safe to take risks, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, right? And then our restorative practices aligns very well with our positive behavioral supports in school system, and also our evergreen expectations. Again, make good decisions, show respect for others and yourself, and then solving problems. We have our expectation winners every Friday that are highlighted at our announcements. They get to come up and see Sparky, our bobcat, and we take pictures, we post them on Facebook in our private group, and really try to celebrate those expectations school-wide. So next steps, we are looking into continued trainings for new staff and really working to integrate our restorative practices, what we've done so far, having that continue into how that integrates with PBIS and multi-tiered systems of supports. And our teachers have done an amazing job. This really is a culture at our school. They've taken it and really had ownership of it, and we've seen some really great results because of it. So, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, public comments. I'm going to read a couple of things. Items on the agenda. Please note the meeting is recorded and live streamed at www.crpusd.org. Members of the public are entitled to speak to any item on the agenda, either immediately after the item is called by the board president or following background information provided related to the item. Each person is entitled to speak on any agenda item only once at any meeting. Public comment items not on the agenda. Please keep your comments concise, brief, and limited to 3 minutes or less. A maximum of 20 minutes is allotted to each subject not appearing on the agenda. If there are more speakers than time allotted, they are each offered the opportunity to speak for an equal duration up to 20 minutes. The Brown Act restricts the board from considering any item not appearing on the posted agenda. And with that, I think Stephen from IT is going to come down and be our timekeeper tonight. And there he is. So with that, first up, we have Jim Gregoretti.
All right, I'm going to try to keep it as close to 3 minutes as I possibly can. So, good evening, Dr. Perez, Board President Gillies, district staff, and CRP USD board members. My name is Jim Gregoretti, and I live at 1197 Cielo Circle here in Rohnert Park. During the last board meeting, a speaker made a comment that all the teachers wearing red seemed gang-like, and even made a reference to communism. While most of us in the audience were semi-amused by those references, I then began to realize that maybe some members of the community do not know why educators are wearing red for ed. Please allow me to illuminate those who may have been wondering. In times before unions, there were no child labor laws, no pensions, no medical coverage on or off the job, no medical coverage for family members. There were unsafe working environments, no 40-hour week, no overtime pay, no other rights and benefits workers have today. The American worker was totally at the mercy and benevolence of the employer. If you were to look back at the working conditions in the late 1800s through the 1930s, you would be appalled at the mistreatment of the worker. Fortunately, union workers trying to gain fair and equal rights in the workplace also lobbied to get federal laws passed, resulting in some of the protections we have today. In the old days, individuals were hired as security guards and were used to physically beat the workers into submission. This resulted in not only the crippling of some workers, but in the deaths of others. In today's world, these individuals have been replaced by high-priced lawyers whose job it is to bust the union any way it can. Red also represents the color of blood that was lost to the strife to gain fair and equal rights for workers throughout the years. Red is the color of passion. Red is the color that signals when you need to stop. And it's also the color people's faces become when they are angry and frustrated. The modern tradition of wearing red dates back to 1989 with the Communication Workers of America, the CWA, whose members wear red on Thursdays. Jerry Horgan was the CWA chief steward for Westchester County in New York, who died in August of 1989 while he worked a picket line. He left behind a wife and 2 daughters. The vehicle that struck him was driven by a scab, which is someone who crosses the picket line during a strike, and the teenage daughter of a manager. The driver was never charged for his death. CWA members wear their red shirts on Thursdays to remember Horgan and the sacrifices he made protecting the picket line. Wearing the red shirt to show solidarity took on an extra meaning during former Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker's relentless attacks on labor. Unionists around the country wanted to show solidarity with Wisconsin and donned red shirts once a week. Today it remains an act of showing unity, both to one another and the world. It's not anti-management, it's a positive statement of workers standing together. The ultimate goal is to bring union members together one day a week. It gives visual statements to management of the worker solidarity. The red shirt gives everyone a sense of unity and fellowship. The red shirt is also a visual reminder that checks and balances in the workplace have to be maintained daily. So to our RIPSI members at home and in the audience, if you want to stand up for better wages and working conditions, continue to wear red every Tuesday. If you don't own anything red, consider buying something that is red. Hopefully there's an old Niner jersey or t-shirt around the house. Just saying, they did well on Monday night. Of course, we will give people like Steffens and Curry, they can wear their Boston Red Sox. That's totally fine. So. You will. So when you see RIPSIA members wearing red for ed at an event or even a board meeting, it is simply to show solidarity and the belief that the union that they're a part of is looking out for them and their best interests. I feel that the union is more unified than it ever
Next up is Christina Grace.
I spoke at the September meeting among many other articulate speakers and wanted to recap my speech from last time. My takeaways for you were that after 10 years of teaching, I could only afford 5 apples a week. They were for my kids only, as they are always and will always be my first priority. The other takeaway that I'd like you to remember is that after 10 years of teaching, I felt stuck in this district and silly for not having left earlier like other qualified teachers did. If you remember, I brought up the pins, about how 5-year pins, we had a bunch of teachers that got those at the beginning of the year. The 10-year pin, I think we had 4. Then you get up to the 15 and the 20, all of us that are kind of stuck here with the salary that we have, because we didn't leave soon enough. And I remember telling Stanford to leave, but I didn't mean it. Okay. So, I'm shocked after you guys hearing all that data from the September meeting, that we've been pushed aside yet again to fact-finding and a possible strike. That is confusing, considering that we got a 5% COLA. Where is that going? It's also beyond hurtful. So much so, I think we need restorative justice. So, let me further my reasons to persuade you to give us living wages. Please note, I said living wages. After 15 years of teaching, my family, we were able to buy a house with a considerable loan from my parents. Without them, I would still not have a home. We have been refinancing our home to make ends meet. After 20 years of teaching, just to give you an example of how well I budget, my daughter cried because we couldn't afford to rent a movie for $2.99. That is after 20 years of being in this business. My kids also got 1 pair of tennis shoes and 1 pair of summer shoes, and they knew that they had to make those last. Now, this might not sound abnormal. I know that I grew up this way too. My parents had 3 jobs each. They didn't go to college, and they told me if I go to college, I don't have to live this way. Now, I knew choosing a teaching position was not going to make me rich. I did not know, after 20 years in a profession, I would not be able to afford a $2.99 movie rental. Now, I have a BA plus 75 units. I had $17,000 in student loans. I stayed in this district because I love my students and felt the benefits made up for the pay discrepancy. You need to know that discrepancy is getting so large that at 21 years in this district, I may be able to jump ship and still get more money in a different district. Next year's pins that you give out may not just have a few tenures, but it may have a lot fewer 15-year teachers and 20-year teachers as well. There is a teacher shortage. We have an English position that's been flown that cannot get filled. If you know anything about English teachers, which I am, we are a dime a dozen usually. Like, that position should have been filled the minute it flew. So there's a teacher shortage. You cannot afford to lose us. And we cannot afford to stay. You have the power to change that.
Next up is Kim Stainer.
To be planned for, to be a line item in the budget. Our teachers are tired of having to fight for even COLA wage increases, which more often have been far less than COLA. Our teachers are not asking for something unreasonable. We are asking to be paid the same as the average teacher in California. Our teachers are not asking for more than the average wage. of teachers in California. Line up 100 teachers. We're asking to be in the middle, just the middle. This is not unreasonable. Our teachers are now ready to show you just how tired we are of being compensated at a below average salary. I hope that you take these facts into consideration.
Christy McWilliams.
Good evening. My name is Christy McWilliams, and I teach computer science at Rancho. I have a dual bachelor's in computer science and mathematics and was a programmer until I realized my true passion lies with teaching. Computer science falls under career technical education, which is a program that provides industry skills to students so they can get a head start in that field. My students begin the pathway by learning that computer science is not about using computers, but about using problem solving and programming to create software. They finish the CTE pathway with AP Computer Science, a college-level course. As a CTE teacher, not only am I expected to continually build my teaching skills, but also stay up to date with the computer science industry. I'm expected to have skills for 2 careers while earning a salary that does not meet cost of living. A student today asked me why I would be a teacher when I could be making at least twice as much as a programmer. Usually, I respond right away to this question, explaining that I love teaching, I love my colleagues, and I love this school. But today, I hesitated. I hesitated because so much of my life has been put on hold because I am a teacher. My husband and I are in our 30s and still have roommates because we cannot afford to live in this community on our own. We both thought that we would have started a family by now, but now we are not sure when that will happen because we can't afford to provide our kids basic necessities. If the district continually chooses to insult us with their low offers, I will have to move on from this career and go back to an industry that respects me. To be clear, I do not expect a programmer's salary, but I do expect a salary that allows me to live in this community. If the district cannot offer a reasonable salary increase, myself and many other talented teachers will be forced to leave, and the district will have to scramble to find replacements while the students suffer. Why would a district that prides itself on its quality of education allow that to happen? How can the school support families if it can't provide an income that helps its employees have families? How does the district expect to keep good teachers when they make us fend for ourselves? I love teaching. I want this to be my career. However, I cannot do so if it means I am unable to live my life. Thank you.
Anna Lehman. Anna Lehman.
Hi, my name is Anna Lehman, and I teach chemistry at Rancho Cotati. I was up here 2 months ago to speak to you all about renting an apartment and the unaffordability of working and living in this community. In my remarks, I mentioned that I could give you a breakdown of what I do all day, but I didn't feel it was necessary at the time. Now, however, after negotiations have stalled yet again and our pleas as union members for living wages and reasonable salaries appear to fall on deaf ears, I've decided that a breakdown of exactly what I do all day is necessary. Clearly, you have no idea how much work teachers do. So here it is. I've written it all in order. And because teachers often get interrupted at our jobs, We have a lot of things to do. It might sound a little disjointed, but this is what I've done for my job in the last 24 hours in order. Created a lab worksheet and prepared slides for students to use as they test the properties of substances and use those properties to determine the bond type. That's as technical as it's going to get. Made copies of said worksheet. Touched base with an administrator about an ongoing issue with a student. Signed my attendance report from last week and turned it in. Gathered and set out materials for the lab. Welcomed students to class while simultaneously taking attendance. Directed students to discuss the material with each other. Followed up with students who weren't participating. Provided an opportunity for quieter or non-participatory students to feel included and valued in class. I gave a student who had not had breakfast one of my personal protein bars. I walked around the classroom during lab, ensuring that students were being safe with the chemicals, recording data, working together, including each other, and cleaning up properly and safely. Then I held my pee because I couldn't leave my students unattended. I touched base with a different administrator about a new job responsibility I might take on. I corrected and redirected a different student behavior that was off task, unnecessary, disrespectful. I answered my classroom phone when it rang and helped the teacher who called me. I noticed that a student had been in the bathroom for 20 minutes. I checked in with other students to ensure they were understanding the lab. I connected with that student in the bathroom to clarify expectations about leaving class and how long a reasonable bathroom break is. I called on students to share their lab findings. I worked through lunch to co-advise the Gender and Sexuality Alliance meeting with Ms. McWilliams right here. I answered my email. I helped a teacher at Tech High safely dispose of chemicals. I graded student work. I wrote a detention. Remember that student in the bathroom? He got a detention, right? And then I planned tomorrow's lesson. If that doesn't look to you like a schedule that deserves a living wage, then you don't look. And if you don't think that all of that tells you how committed we are to our students, then you don't think.
Chris Steffens.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Perez, parents, students, and fellow colleagues who are in attendance and online. My name is Chris Steffens, and I teach biology and AP biology here at Rancho Cotati High School. I hold a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's degree in education. This is my 9th year in the district, and this is my 23rd year of teaching. My wife is also a teacher in this district, and my son is a junior here at the ranch. And because he is a varsity baseball player and in honor of the Red Sox making the playoffs, I will be making some baseball references in my speech tonight. In addition to inspiring, challenging, and motivating my students, I also have the privilege of serving as the science department chair, supporting the 5 other science teachers in our department. At present, I have 3 teachers that currently have to rely on financial support from their parents and their extended families in order to be able to afford to live and work in this community. This is unacceptable. This is strike one. My biggest fear as department chair is that these highly qualified, highly educated, highly trained credentialed teachers will leave for better salaries. And who can blame them? Our average teacher salaries rank 32nd out of 38 in this county. By my calculations, 6 out of 38, that means your batting average is .157, not good. Board members, have you ever asked yourself why since 2018 we've had a 30% turnover of new teachers? Well, we have heard from you in the past that it is important to recruit and retain highly qualified teachers. Your words now ring hollow. Other districts in this county have negotiated multiple year agreements and meaningful salary increases to recruit and retain the best teachers, many from our district. The best that you have offered us is a one-time 2% increase and $2,000. This in a year when the state of California has allocated over a 5% cost of living increase to our district. Strike two. While you sweep crumbs off the tables for teachers, you have the audacity to rubber stamp a raise and a contract extension for a superintendent who is now one of the highest paid superintendents in the county, but who manages a district with many fewer students and employees. It seems only Michelle Wing has the integrity and common sense to know that a true leader is one who rewards him or herself last. In closing, I do not know why you are so unwilling to make a commitment to the heart and soul of this district. I don't understand why you feel no obligation to the key players that inspire students every day. It is unclear why you are content to be led and not lead yourselves to find solutions as you were elected to do. Strike three. It is clear, however, to over 90% of us that after all of the failed negotiations, mediation, and pathetic salary offers, that you simply either don't care or that you intend to play hardball. And if it is the latter, we say, batter up. Thank you.
Logan Ober.
Give me a second here to open up the document. Alrighty, hi board. My name is Logan Ober. I am a senior here at Rancho Cotati High. And I'd first like to say that I have really enjoyed my time here at Rancho. I think that Rancho has really nice facilities. And I think we do have really great technology resources. And lastly, Rancho has extraordinary staff. My time here at Rancho has not been the easiest. I have had many mental health struggles and have had social anxiety. I've also dealt with bullying on campus. Every time something came up, though, with my mental health or bullying, the staff at Rancho had always addressed it and had made me feel a lot better. I felt really supported here, and I really feel like Rancho is my home. The teachers in this district at this school, from what I've experienced, have always gone above and beyond for their students. They spend their money a lot to us, whether that be with food or drinks or things to help the learning environment or items to engage students more. The staff at Rancho are one of the most supportive people I've had in my life. Although I've been listening to these board meetings for months now, and I have to say I'm very frustrated, I'm very upset that the board is either not listening to teachers about salary, the cost of living increases, or they just don't care about looking into the budget to find where they can find extra money to move around. I'm truly scared that if there isn't change, teachers will find jobs or other districts to work in, and if that happens, we won't have these great staff members in our community anymore. This makes me really sad because I feel our staff at Rancho is what makes Rancho feel like Rancho, and I can't imagine Rancho without them. I truly hope the district can come to an agreement to increase the salaries. I watched the meeting where Dr. Perez was awarded a raise without any hesitation, except from you, Ms. Wing. Ms. Wing, as you know from our emails, I admire you as a board member and appreciate your understanding of the current salary issues, as well as your willingness to listen and respond to concerns. I hope the rest of you board members can recognize that teachers' salaries are an issue and you guys need to fix this mess that was created. You were elected as candidates to best support our district, and I feel as of right now that is not happening. Please realize that our staff members are a huge priority for our district, and that if you lose these staff members, you will really hurt many people in this district, and you will be responsible for this. Thank you.
Item 7A, Communications, Student Board Member Reports. Let's start with Caitlin Antonetti.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here this evening. Recently we've held elections for our state senate. These elections were held to pick a student from each second period class to represent our school and be leaders. Last week on Thursday, our day off of school, we had about 50 students come on campus that were elected for Student Senate and received ambassador training. With this type of training in our Rancho community, we are hoping to create culture and have the students' voices be heard. The College and Career Center has also been reaching out to students about their interests in enrolling in JC classes for the upcoming semester. Fall sports have come to an end of their regular season, and many have held their senior nights. We also put together a pink themed football game in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Our varsity football team won their first playoff game 37-0, and our second round for our playoff game is at home this Saturday at 7. Tickets are being sold online if anyone wants to come. There is a girls' basketball game Friday at 7:30 and a boys' basketball game Thursday at 7:30 as well. Both games are home. Girls' soccer has a game today at 6 against Sonoma as well. We have 8 clubs meeting this week, a few including Dance Club, California Scholarship Federation, and Environmental Club. Our Athlete of the Week is Gino Mancarini on the varsity football team, and our Talent of the Week is Leanne Pring for her musical talents. We are having a blood drive this Thursday to collect blood for Vitalent. This will be our second blood drive of the year, and at our last blood drive, we collected over 30 pints of blood, and we know our upcoming drive will be a success as well. And in addition to our blood drive, we are also hosting our annual canned food drive. This event will start on December 1st. Every year, we hold a goal of 10,000 pounds and have high hopes for this year as well. All collections will be going straight to Noah Food Bank to help members of our community. With it being October last month and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we have been collecting money for all proceeds to be donated to cancer research and support. Our goal was originally $2,500, and together as a school, we have surpassed our goal and raised $2,697.79. Our students have been very generous with their donations to help support this cause. We take pride in giving back to our community and can't wait to continue through the fall semester. To thank our students for their support, we are putting together thank you gifts for each student. This consists of a snack-sized pack of goldfish along with a handwritten thank you note. These will be passed out on Friday. Thank you and happy holidays.
Madeline Denise.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. This month at Tech High, we've been focusing on middle school tours and visits as we approach the deadline for applications for the upcoming year. In preparation, we have been hosting prospective student nights where we allow 8th graders to learn a little bit about what Tech High has to offer. These occur over Zoom and have been successful in relaying information to students who might not have been able to come to our in-person tours. And along with our prospective student nights, we have also been doing middle school visits in the past month. These visits are student-led, as we have a few members from ASB in varying grade levels to speak about their experiences and our school in general. So far, we have been to all 3 middle schools in our district, 6 out of district, and plan to do more in the near future. We had our Under the Stars theme homecoming on October 23rd with a record number of ticket sales. We had 66% attendance from our student body, which came out to be around 231 tickets. It took place in our gym due to weather conditions. However, it still turned out to be a great success among the students. Because it ended up taking place indoors, masks were required and they were enforced very well. I didn't see anyone without a mask at the dance. And we had amazing decorations and a photo station set up, and it was really nice to feel some normalcy within my high school experience. Testing has started once again with our school hosting the PSAT and SAT this past month, and we are so proud of everyone who put hard work into practicing and preparing for those exams. Many of our clubs have started to take action in our community, both here at Tech High and locally. Our art club sold various arts and crafts, including stickers, earrings, and paintings during their art sale for a week during lunch. Sustainability Club hosted a bake sale at Oliver's on November 13th. And then lastly, Interact is working closely with Rotary for outreach projects to take place on our campus. Our National Blue Ribbon Award that recognizes excellence in our academics and school culture was accepted in Washington, D.C. on November 3rd through 6th by a few selected THS staff members and was brought proudly back to campus. On November 10th, this past Wednesday, Congressman Mike Thompson came to certify that award, and the whole school came out to watch, and we even got a performance from drama and the band classes. We got to celebrate this amazing accomplishment with cupcakes and cake, and overall, everyone was proud and honored. We had our first on-campus 8th grade tours on November 12th, where Thomas Page, Lawrence Jones, and Tech Middle came to walk around and see our school in a real-life setting. We took them through classrooms and showcased our school, making sure to point out our diversity in all aspects, such as arts, sports, and our engineering programs. We included a student panel with members involved in a variety of on-campus activities, such as sports, clubs, and other extracurriculars or classes that they were involved in. These tours were a success and a large turnout from all 3 schools. There are currently dates booked for a few ASB members to visit Tech Middle and Thomas Page to help with Tech High applications, and hopefully a visit to Lawrence Jones as well. This process is important so that these 8th graders can have a student who actually attends the school explaining the best possible way to go about the application process. And then lastly, our blood drive has been rescheduled to November 30th, and we already have signups and are excited to be able to start it up again. That is it for this month's report. Thank you for your time.
7B, Roanoke Park Cotati Educators Association report.
Good evening. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Perez, student board members, other district leaders, principals, fellow educators, parents, and students. Tonight, this report is brief, with the sole focus on current contract negotiations. Last month, my report was given when we were at impasse with the district. It was the night before mediation, and I shared our hope that we would see a better deal at the bargaining table. We had hoped that you would have really listened to us. The teachers and educators listened to parents and conducted your own independent investigation of the district's financial reports, asked questions about how other districts were able to plan and offer their educators multi-year agreements. I shared my hope that this board would heed this urgent call to reallocate the funds and invest in your most precious resource, the educators of this district. Well, our hopes were dashed again. Mediation failed. As a result, we asked our members what they wanted to do next. We did this by taking a vote to authorize a strike if fact-finding fails. Over 90% of voting members have authorized RIPSIA leadership to call for a strike if no agreement is reached once the contract bargaining process has been exhausted. We know that a labor strike is a last-ditch effort and is not something we take lightly. We are not desperate. We are organized and mobilized, and strongly assert the board can offer a multi-year deal that shows compensation to retain our dedicated, talented, and hardworking educators. We also ask, why will the board not listen to those that work the closest to the students? We have invited you many times to engage in dialogue and share your vision of this district with us. I understand that you've been advised not to discuss negotiations, but why can't you listen to us face to face? If we all want what is best for our students and the community, then why can't we talk about it? Again, our association is committed to secure fair working conditions and wages because we know that educators who feel valued, safe, and secure are able to better serve the students and the community. Our initial proposal for wage increases was to account for the continually rising cost of living in this area and to close the gap between the CRPUSD annual average wage of about $6,800,000, other local district average wages, and the state average at $84,000. While we know that our members also receive good health benefits, this does not close the gap. The CPI continues to rise in Sonoma County, and our members cannot keep up. The CPI went up 0.7 over the past 2 months, up 3.8% from a year ago. We must ensure that talented educators can afford to stay in this profession they love, in the district that they love. We will continue to voice for a change in this district for better pay, benefits, and working conditions that have long been ignored. We deserve and need to earn pay and benefits that match our expertise, education, and professional experience. RIPSIA made the formal request for a fact-finding hearing in the final attempt to secure an agreement. We request the school board trustees attend this hearing since you ultimately make the financial decisions in this district. We need the board of trustees to make a commitment and direct the superintendent to offer us a fair multi-year deal. Show us you're willing to work together to implement long-term planning for future budgeting and wages. Show us you're willing to work with those that work closest to the students, the teachers. Show us your leadership to provide competitive wages to attract and retain highly qualified educators. Show us you can direct the effective use of public funds to spend today's dollars on today's children. We'll be waiting. Thank you for your time.
Item 7C, receipt of official correspondence. C1, Sonoma County Quarterly Treasurer's Report for quarter ending September 30th, 2021.
This is a quarterly report provided by the treasurer for you to all review.
Are there any questions or comments? Item 2, letter from Superintendent of Schools.
Yes, you have received a letter from the Sonoma County Office of Education. This represents the Williams visit that occurs annually at Thomas Page Academy and John Reed. There were no findings. And basically what they do is they review our instructional materials, sufficiency, facilities, misassignments, and our school accountability report cards. So there were no findings, which is very good news.
Any questions or comments? Item 8, consent agenda, items A through L. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 8A through L.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 9, educational services.
We have no items tonight.
Thank you. Item 10, personnel services. A, ratification of a temporary substitute teacher salary schedule.
Yes, this is an increase. We are recommending an increase in substitute salaries. As you recall, last year we increased from $130 to $150, and now we're increasing to $200 a day. We know that there is a sub shortage, but we're hoping that this will help us in terms of finding our substitutes.
Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve 10A, ratification of a temporary substitute teacher salary schedule?
I'll make a motion that we approve 10A.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 10B, approval of job description for mental health social worker and licensed clinical social worker.
This is a job description. We have people in the positions, and we did not have a job description. So what staff has done is create this job description. We want to make sure that we have a job description for all staff members.
Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve item 10B?
I move that we approve 10B.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 0. Motion carries. 10C, approval of job description revision for staff secretary, student and family support.
This is a position that we want to support. It's a combined position, human resources as well as ed services, and doing different tasks to support our students and families. So we had a job description, but we wanted to revise it to be more current with the expectations and the job responsibilities of the position.
Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve item 10C?
I'll make a motion that we approve 10C.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 0. Motion carries 5-0. Item 11, business and operations services. Item A, resolution 2022-7 regarding annual accounting of developer fees for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021 in the Capital Facilities Fund.
Yeah, this report and resolution represents the fees collected for under developer fees and the accounting of the expenditures in that fund. I'm glad to answer any questions, otherwise looking for an approval.
Do we have any idea of what the developer fees are going to be for the next year? Guesstimating?
We do not. We have a budget, and I'm not sure what that was based on, so I can look into that. I know that was a question that was asked, and I haven't had a chance to ask Josh or discuss it with Josh, who would probably have some more information than I don't.
Is that something we might be able to take a look at our facilities meeting?
Absolutely.
And then bring it to the full board?
Yeah.
The information?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do the developer fees get paid when they pull the permit or when they start construction or?
When they pull the permit, they can't move forward until they get a signature and pay the fees to the district.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve item 11A?
I'll make a motion to approve item 11A.
Can I get a second?
All second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Oh, sorry, it's a resolution. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Chimino?
Yes.
Trustee Gilly?
Yes.
Trustee Nelson?
Aye.
Trustee Wing?
Yes.
I'm sorry? Yes. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Convene item 12A, Board Services, Fiscal Update and Planning.
All right. I'm glad to answer any questions around the budget summary for October. There was some movement. I will be reporting more specifically next month with the first interim report. I would like to talk about enrollment a little bit because we were up 29 kids again between September and October. We had 57 kids enter the district. 9 were out of the country, 4 from out of the state, 25 from out of the county, and 19 from within the county. And we had 28 leave the district for a net of 29. And we had 6 go to private schools, 12 who left the country, 6 who left the county, and then there were 4 others, which are a little. So, any questions on enrollment? There was you each have, and were emailed a revised copy of the spreadsheet. There was a number transposed for between the Virtual Learning Academy and SDC for Monte Vista, I believe. And if I could just take a minute to talk about ADA, which is how we get funded. I think last time I reported on period 1, which was the first month of school. We have information about period 2, which was from September 13th through 10/8. And happy to report we're right around where we were, 92 to 93% of enrolled students are attending school on a daily basis on average. So again, as I said before, based on our increased enrollment number, if we can hit somewhere above 90% ADA, we should be pretty flat, and anything higher than, if, on a normal year, in normal years, we're generally in the 95, 96% ADA average. So with a higher enrollment, somewhere in the over 90% would be our break-even point. So as long as we're above that number, we're in good shape. Any questions? And that's all I got. Oh.
Asking for questions about the enrollment or about the whole 12A?
Sure, yeah, anything you want.
I guess the main question that I have for 12A is that we are still showing on year 2 and year 3 in the negative. Under year 3 in the negative, definitely. Projected ending balance.
We are projected to deficit spend over the next, this year plus 2 years. I'll probably have different news after next month, after it all kind of plays out. But yes, the budget, there hasn't been much change from the budget at this point. So we are projected to deficit spend in the unrestricted budget over the next 3 years.
I do have one question about the enrollment part. Are you done, Trustee Nelson?
Well, do these numbers reflect planned, like projected, like with the negotiations with RIPSIA, what we've projected, or
no?
This is only realized.
Right.
Okay.
The 92% enrollment for ADA, are we counting kids on quarantine in class or out of class? Are they in this 92?
They're anyone who's not attending, who's not in school is counted as absent. They're coded differently. I think I went through that a couple months ago. And we never really received any guidance on treating them any differently than a student that, it's an excused absence, but it's still an absence, so.
Okay. Can we just double check to make sure that our quarantine kids aren't in that 92 number? Because I know
They are counted as absent, I know for sure.
Okay.
It's an excused absence, and, you know, if they are in quarantine for that period of time, generally, if they're, oh, you know, more than 10 days, or I forget the cutoffs, but they may get a letter.
Right.
And we've made it because of that coding so that they don't get the truancy letters. So that's how we're treating them at this point.
Okay. Our enrollment per ADA going up is shocking, knowing how many kids are being quarantined each day. So it's great if that's the
enrollment
right.
is just the kids that have enrolled at the schools and or VLA. ADA
Right.
is the kids who are showing up.
Right,
and-
I just am surprised that we have more kids showing up right now in COVID times. I would think that we would have less. So, that's all.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I do want to add that we're starting to see some students from the VLA, a small number, return to in-person learning. And, you know, when we ask the families, independent study is difficult in terms of completing the work. So in some instances, they know that it's better for their child to be in person. In other instances, they know that the vaccine is coming. And, you know, these families, what they want their children safe, and that's, so we're starting to see that shift. So each time I visit a school, I'll say there's 2 or 3, and I'm meeting the kids that were in the virtual academy, and they're transitioning back.
Any other questions or comments? If not, move to 12B, first reading and waive second reading, review revisions to board policy and administrative regulation, 5121 grades, evaluation of student achievement.
Yes, this policy really is about defining how grades are determined, and you'll see that the grades are based on the mastery of standards, and we want to move this quickly because we are in the process of, you know, finishing and transitioning to a different semester. So we want to make sure that these policies are, you know, reflect the current legislation.
Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve 12B?
I move that we approve 12B.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 0. Motion carries 5-0. 12C, second reading approval of revisions to board policy 0470, COVID-19 mitigation plan.
As you may recall, this is a second reading. I presented it last month, where it's really everything related to COVID that we must provide our students to mitigate learning loss, et cetera.
Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve item 12C?
I make a motion that we approve 12C.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 0. Motion carries 5-0. 12D, second reading approval of revisions to board policy 3516.5, emergency schedules.
This is, again, we presented it, Mr. Bartolome presented it last month, and it's your second reading, and we're asking for approval tonight.
Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve item 12D?
I'll make a motion that we approve 12D.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 0. Motion carries 5-0. 12E, call for nominations to the CSBA Delegate Assembly.
Yes, so we have some openings in Region 3, and we're entitled to 8 delegates on CSBA Assembly, so this is the call for nominations. And we're asking for approval tonight.
Do we get to nominate someone?
Yes. There's a list.
You can vote to nominate someone. You can not vote and take no action. That would be if one of you wanted to apply to the CSBA Delegate Assembly.
Is anybody interested? Trustee Wing?
Not this year.
Not this year, okay.
Thank you, though, for asking.
Anybody else?
So we would take no action then.
Okay. So we'll take no action? So we need to vote on taking no action? No?
No.
Okay, thank you. 12F, approval of governance handbook.
Well, I'm really happy to say that we have completed our governance handbook. We have been working on it for a little while. So this is our final version that we will all sign this evening.
Any questions or comments?
Yay.
Is yay a good one?
Can I get a motion to approve item 12F?
I'll make a motion to approve item 12F.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? 0. Motion carries 5-0. Board member reports. The only thing I want to say tonight is I was so glad to see that Janet Lowry and Lanny Lowry are back teaching in our district. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I was so excited. That's all I have to say about that. Michelle.
Well, first off, I wanted to say thank you to Mindy. I know tonight's her last board meeting, so thank you very much. As a new board member this year, you have made the transition on the board really smooth and made sure I've dotted all my I's and crossed all my T's and gotten everything in on time. So thank you very much. I appreciate it and wish you the best of luck on your retirement. And I'm jealous. Okay. So there's that. In our June meeting, we had a presentation from our lawyer about redistricting, and I know other counties and districts are talking about it. He had said that we should expect a report in October or November, so I was just wondering kind of if we can get an update on that at our next board meeting of what's happening and where that stands.
Yeah, the demographer is currently looking
Okay.
and looking at that data, so we will have a report soon. So we're waiting on them,
Yeah.
and that's where we're at, right? Yep, we're waiting on them.
Great, just wanted to make sure it was on. I had it in my October, November.
So we're hoping that we can bring something back to the December meeting.
Good. The special ed committee, I was looking at the committees that we were all on, and that committee hasn't met yet this year, so I was just thinking that that's probably something that we should get on the radar, especially since we're a couple months into the school year. So if we could have one of those, or just kind of an update on what's going on in that area, I'd appreciate it. And then for those of you that don't know, I will be going with Superintendent Perez to the CSBA conference the first week of December in San Diego, so I'm very excited about that. It's a 3-day conference, so the first day is a board president's workshop, and then the next 2 days is, they have all different kinds of trainings and classes, and so Superintendent Perez and I will be dividing and conquering, and then coming back to the board with our learnings and what's going on in California and the School Board Association. So I'm really excited and want to thank you guys for the opportunity to let me attend that. So that is all of my stuff.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown is out of town, no. So Mindy, thank you for many, 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 many years of support. And being a board member is having an executive assistant help us look good, so thank you for that. Congratulations, and I welcome you and hope you have a wonderful retirement. Retirement is good. You're going to find you're going to do more in retirement than you're doing here, which is like, why am I doing this? So thanks again from the bottom of my heart. And then too, also saw a couple exciting football games at the ranch, so they're going to continue on, which is fun. So lots of good stuff going on. That's all.
Trustee Nelson.
All right, well, also thank you, Mindy. Boy, would have been lost as a new person. I was not saying that I wasn't anyway, but would have been even more so. So thank you so much for all of your help. Congratulations to Tech High School for that Blue Ribbon Award. That is very prestigious, so that was pretty awesome. Congrats to the girls volleyball team from Rancho who went to the playoffs, and also I have attended the Rancho football games, and that playoff atmosphere last week was awesome, and we'll be looking forward to this week. Recently I did attend my first wellness committee, so I did want to thank everyone for the new start time that wasn't like 3 p.m. So that was good, and looking forward to the next DLAC committee meeting. I think that's it.
Trustee Chimino.
Mindy, like everyone else, thank you. You've always been very kind and warm, and always have, I felt, gave me a little extra help on remembering things. And, you know, like when I didn't have the paperwork, you're like, I got a copy, or you're always on top of it. And I really appreciate it, and I hope, yeah, so thank you.
Hawaii, here you come.
Oh yeah, and then I don't have much to report, but we do have a 2x2x2 meeting tomorrow, which is pretty nice to talk to different members of the community about ways of helping out. But yeah, that's about it.
And we are going to go to item 13B, Superintendent's Report. I didn't forget.
We've had a few activities going on. I want to let you know that in October, at the end of October, we had the Windsor Board and City Council tour our beautiful tag building because they have an interest in a city-district joint project. So we hosted a wonderful visit. Dr. Ganser did an excellent job of providing them with details and touring of the building. Nothing like the experts that have been here through the process. And we also had our LCAP committee meeting where we had a really powerful goal discussion facilitated by Mr. Matt Marshall. So appreciative of him for that. And I want to thank Dr. Gansler, Ms. Lesser, and Ms. Nava for being there and helping us with the goals. And we had different groups. And it was really wonderful to listen and hear the feedback and get some really good input from our community. We also had an ofrenda at the Halloween Carnival. That is an altar to that people typically from Mexico celebrate Dia de los Muertos. I want to do a shout out to Teresa Raffoni and Michelle Spencer. These principals helped me beautify the ofrenda. I put it together, and then they brought the student artwork that made it come alive. And it was a beautiful project, and I really want to thank them for stopping what they were doing, bringing art projects over so that we could celebrate. We also had, sadly I didn't get the name, but we had the Living with Lions, the lion lady come in and talk to our kids about mountain lions. And what she did such a nice job, but what impressed me were the level of the questions from our elementary students. They were just spot on. You know, when is a mountain lion full grown? How do they roam? Do they just roam the cities? You know, when do they have? When do they are considered an adult? So it was just really impressive. I was able to attend the HAN assembly. We had a budget study committee. We had professional development day, and I was able to stop in to see some really wonderful, amazing standards work at UELF, and also see contributions of a parent who is Native American, talk to the technology high staff. We also had a parent advisory committee, and we were joined by Darren Jenkins, our city manager, as well as Tim Mathos, the director of public safety. They wanted to talk to our community about kind of the rethinking of the police department and how they're served. We also had the privilege of going to Washington, D.C. and spending time with the technology, small subset of the technology high staff, the former principal, the current principal, and teacher Holly Campos. And we were able to really enjoy and celebrate the National Blue Ribbon Award. It was absolutely wonderful. The other things, I'm back at my second round of site visits. I've visited Evergreen, Lawrence Jones, University, UELF, and John Reed. And I'm just impressed every day with the level of professionalism, the level of detail, the strong desire of our principals to look at data and student achievement and improve it and understand it. So they're working on their school plans, so this is their focus, but they are absolutely stellar. I have a special certificate. One of our trustees has completed the CSBA governance courses, and I'd like to honor Michelle Wing for doing all these courses, and she gets a special pin. So she's officially graduated from CSBA.
Thank you. I should have brought my cap and gown.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to pass that down. And now we have another person to honor. So I walked in July 1 to this district, and I was a little lost, little deer in the headlights, but I had Mindy at my side. She took care of me. She showed me the way, she showed me the files, she showed me where things were, and she assisted me and helped me. It was instrumental in having me learn about the district and learn about the culture. She's definitely a historian, having been here 27 years. And she's done an amazing job. I am going to miss her. There are big shoes to fill. And she's just a lovely person, and I just want to present her with some flowers. And I want to give her a round of applause for all of her years of service. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Well, on that note, we will adjourn.